Hey guys, what is up? This is Matthew Davis, me once again. Welcome back to the movie review, aka After I Saw. This time it's going to be on Naked Gun. Now, this movie stars Liam Neeson, who's taking Leslie Nielsen's place, as he plays Leslie Nielsen's son, Frank Drebin Jr., and he goes on a case that his dad would usually go on, and this time around, Police Squad could be in jeopardy and could be shut down if he doesn't solve this case. I don't really need to get further into the plot because it's very simple. It has your titular police movie storyline, but the big goal of this entire thing is trying to make you laugh as hard as you can with every joke it brings in every minute. And the original Naked Gun trilogy, they're classics, or at least the first movie's a classic. I had the Blu-ray right here, this cool lenticular slipcover. The sequels are pretty good as well, but they definitely didn't hold a candle to this original film, in my opinion. So yeah, the fact that, back in the day, when it came to, 80s and 90s comedies that were full of slapstick and creative satire when it came to bringing in gags every single minute. Some really good examples being Spaceballs, or in the 70s there was Young Frankenstein, Monty Python, The Holy Grail, and continuing on with the 80s, Airplane, which is my all-time favorite comedy. And then in the 90s, we had the Austin Powers movies. And yeah, it was just a great time for movies like that to just bring such a big impact that when it came to the 2000s and early 2010s, that's when it really died down. Because, directors Jason Freeber and Aaron Seltzer just gave us so many repetitive comedies that tried way too hard, that just did not understand the genre. Epic movie, date movie, Meet the Spartans, and of course, disaster movie, which is still an unbearable film to get through. I still can't believe I actually used to like that film. It's hard to believe, but I actually did until I got older. So, yeah. And yeah, it pretty much died down when it came to the 2010s with Vampire Sucks, Scary Movie 5, and I don't really need to bring up all these other movies because where it led to. No creativity whatsoever, trying to overdo it with all these references that don't add to the plot whatsoever. I mean, they didn't really need to add to the plot, just have it make sense, because none of them worked whatsoever, and that's why I missed movies like, Naked Gun and all those other types of spoof movies that actually knew how to be funny. So that's why, because this was a legacy sequel to that classic franchise, yeah, I was really, really scared. And you got Liam Neeson, who's known for his serious roles. I mean, he has done comedic stuff before, but yeah, I was really, really scared. I was all like, oh god. And I was all like, oh god, please, 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 oh god, please. So yeah, and then, the movie starts. And I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. Guys, this is actually really good. I'm not even kidding. This was hilarious. They actually managed to bring in that same humor that made those movies so beloved into this film with a somewhat modern take, but not enough of a modern take where it just felt way too modern. This generally feels like a legacy sequel that doesn't feel like it's recycling things from that original film. I mean, the only time it really does redo something from the original movie is during that montage sequence, that romance montage, but having its own spin on it. Generally, what worked the most about this movie is the casting of Liam Neeson. The fact that their names are both very similar, and the fact that, the trailer itself, the first trailer, there were some jokes I thought worked really well. And I was hoping to get more than that. And oh man, did I get more than that. The movie still has that same charm that the original film had, while also having its own original jokes that don't feel like they're just reused. I mean, it does have some cool callbacks to the original film, but not enough where it just feels like a rehash and just trying to remind you how good the original film was. Because this movie managed to bring in the laughs as soon as the movie started up. That opening where, Liam Neeson took off the mask, but it just got way funnier from there, and the same style that I remembered from The Naked Gun and Airplane and all those other classic films. And it never feels like it was fully forced in. Like, of course, it will have modern references because it's a modern movie. It's bound to have those. And when it does have those, they manage to work. They manage to be creative. They manage to, they just don't slow down. And even when it feels like they're starting to slow down, they pick back up. I generally felt like I was watching an old Mel Brooks film that was released in modern time. Of course, it does have that same modern style, but it was enough for me to ignore the fact that it was a modern film. But here's the thing. When it comes to its jokes, it does have your titular sexual innuendos. That was bound to happen. But The Naked Gun, that's pretty much what it was known for. And the fact that it's present here and it's not done in a way where it's always about that, it managed to, make me anticipate what the next joke will be because it's completely unpredictable. Yeah, not all of them are going to land, but if we're talking like actual jokes, none of them really feel like they were written by AI. It doesn't feel like, they had to use ChatGTP in order to go like, okay, what's our next joke? What should we do for this next scene? Should we hit him in the head with a frying pan for absolutely no reason? Should we, make him slip on a banana? What should we do, ChatGPT? Please tell us. No. The director of Chippendale Rescue Rangers, which was also very creative, managed to bring creativity to this movie as well with the amount of gags it pulls in, because that's really what I came here for, and oh boy did I get it. I was laughing so hard. There was a joke that truly felt like I was watching Naked Gun, the original film, all over again. I felt like I was gonna die laughing. Like, I laughed so hard, tears came down my face, and I haven't had that with a modern movie, a modern comedy in quite some time. I mean, there were movies that I laughed at, but not so hard where I was just tearing up because I was just all like, how is this funny? It really couldn't be this funny, but it was. I was just loving most of the time that I was spending watching this movie, and it has the exact same runtime as the original, which was an hour and 25 minutes. And that's including credits. So in total, it's an hour and 15. I wouldn't have minded if it lasted a little bit longer and stay after the credits, because there's a song that plays that was absolutely perfect. And it does have some of those Easter eggs where, it has, funny like lines put into the credits. It was absolutely perfect. I love how, even though it is a legacy sequel, it doesn't feel like it's trying to, be a nostalgia bait type comedy film. Now look, we get complaints about legacy sequels and sequels in general and live action remakes and the fact that nothing's original anymore. Yes, this isn't an original film, but that doesn't mean, a legacy sequel still can't be good, because we've had good ones. Yes, there are some out there that are just nostalgia bait, but it doesn't mean that it's always going to happen. This is a really good example on how to do one right. You can still pay homage to the original while also doing your own thing, thinking of your own ideas. While, of course, it does have, a story we've seen plenty of times, but that doesn't matter. What matters is, as long as you have the right type of humor, as long as you know how to make your audience laugh without having to feel like you have to reuse your old jokes. Like, there are some gags that I thought were absolutely priceless. It doesn't feel like that type of modern parody film that just completely ruined parody. No, they completely ignored that and just went back to the 80s and the 90s, those types of comedy films that we just love to see in terms of the every 1 minute joke type movies. Like, we got that a lot. And there's not like any like big movie references that come in, or just like adding in like a bunch of random dance sequence, like a bunch of rap dancing jokes or anything like that just completely like go way too hard. No, this movie tried hard enough. And in the end, guys, Naked Gun, I am utterly shocked of how hard I laughed at a movie. Like, look, not all the jokes land. There are some that, are kind of lazy, but there wasn't like a joke in this movie that made me like groan or anything like that. There wasn't a time where the movie was just unbearable to get through. Like, there are occasional jokes, like people getting hit in the crotch, which did kind of get old, but not enough for me to not enjoy myself watching the movie. Like, there's even fourth wall breaks that I thought were pretty clever, and yeah, I was just loving most of my time with this movie. I cannot tell you how happy I was throughout this movie. I generally had a really fun time watching it, and I'm sure Leslie Nielsen himself would be proud that a man who's played so many serious roles just played so many of the same, serious action roles ever since Taken, but managed to do something fun for once. And yeah, he truly made the movie for me. And the humor, it was absolutely on par. I wouldn't necessarily say this is better than the original film, but I can say that I do think it's better than the sequels, surprisingly. Not to say that I didn't like the sequels, I did like the sequels. But what this film did truly made me feel like I was, not that I was watching the original again, I did rewatch the original. Had me thinking, yes, I remember how good the original movie was, but it didn't have to remind me of that. I can remind myself of that without this movie trying to remind me of that. There are some hidden moments throughout the movie that do pay homage to the original film, but not enough where it was just another nostalgia bait sequel. I highly recommend checking this movie out. It's absolutely hilarious. Is it going to be for everyone? Absolutely not. Like, some people might not find it funny, but as for me, I thought it was absolutely hilarious, and that is absolutely no joke whatsoever. I really missed these comedies. I really, really did. It's good that someone actually managed to bring one back. And please, if this movie does well, we might get more of these types of movies. Yeah, this is a really good movie weekend. With this, Bad Guys 2 together, and Fantastic Four is still out right now, there's plenty of reason to go to the theater right now. Like, get up, go out and see one of these movies, or all of them. All of them are really good and worth your time. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, maybe subscribe for more. You can also follow me on Twitter or Instagram or maybe Blue Sky. Links are in the description, and I'll see you guys later. Word out.